Welcome back. In this tutorial we are going to implement save and load mechanics. So without further ado, let's get started. So first of all, let's open our window menu, .xaml. I plan to access the save function right from our game. So the button will be just below the continue button. So right here. So in order to make it a bit easier, let's get rid of the grid and its definitions. Instead, we will have a stack panel. Okay, so we don't need these grid rows anymore. Okay, let's add the save button right here. This will be button save. Oh, also we need to remove the fixed height, and instead we will set size to content and set it to height. So it will automatically set the needed height to just fit all the content. Also, let's add some margin to the top as well. 0 on sides and 5 on top and bottom. Good. Well, so now let's go to code, press F7. And here we will have private members. So these members will correspond to some of our resources and status variables from window game xaml.cs. So first of all, we will have a private variable for single pet. Let's call it m single pet. Also, we will need a variable for coins, so m coins. Another variable for free hours, m free hours. Another variable for current day. By the way, if you wonder why we do not use the class for all of these variables, that's because our single pet holds only those fields which are relevant only to the pet, not the game process in general. So let's continue. The current day. Also, we will have a private boolean field for the status of vegetables. So if they were purchased, m vegetables purchased. Let's give it a summary. Indicates whether item vegetables was purchased. Okay, and we will have another variable for the big bone, so indicates whether item big bone was purchased. And let's copy and paste it here and remove the white space. Okay, now and we will also need another private boolean variable for the search choice, whether the current day had the search choice available. So m daily choice 3 available. Okay. Now in the constructor we will need to accept all of these from window game. So first of all, single pet, then coins, then free hours, then the current day, also whether vegetables were purchased, so bool vegetables purchased, bool big bone purchased, and finally bool for daily choice 3 available. Okay, so in the constructor we need to assign our private fields to these parameters. So m single pet equals single pet, m coins equals coins, m free hours equals free hours, m current day equals current day. Now vegetables, m vegetables purchased equals vegetables purchased. M big bone purchased equals big bone purchased. And finally, M daily choice 3 available equals daily choice 3 available. Okay, now let's finally go to user control game XAML.cs, and we need the show menu method here. So in this constructor we need to pass the needed parameters. First of all, m single pet, then m money, then m free hours, then m current day, then m vegetables. Oh, we don't have this variable here yet. Well, let's type it and we will create it a bit later. M vegetables purchased, also m daily choice 3 available. Okay, so we need to create this variable, so it will be here. So vegetables purchased. So something is wrong. So single pet, coins, 3 hours, current day, vegetables. Oh, also big bone. So big bone purchased. Okay. Now let's get back to window menu XAML.cs, and here in our we need to create it. Save, press F12. Okay, so here we will need to create a new text file to which we will write all these variables. So let's create a new file. So in order to do it, type using. Type in using ensures that all resources are freed once all the code inside these curly braces has been executed. In order to create a file, you type file, period, create text, and in braces, you type the file name. So let's type save, and its extension, let's type, well, we could just type txt, but then it will be obvious to our players that they can change it manually. So let's leave it SAV, but you should know that you can simply open it with text editor, literally any text editor. So this will create a file, but in order to write to this file at the same time, we will need a stream writer, let's call it SW, and assign it to this file create text. And as you see, this method returns a stream writer, which allows us to write to it right here. You need to access our stream writer, and specifically its writeLine method. It's very similar to the console. So first of all, we will write our pet name, so m single pet name. Then we will need to write the total days. Next, happiness, then happiness bonus, Honge, and also Honge modifier. Let's write the pet type, pet description, and also its age and age description. So all of this information is contained within this private field. But as for other relevant variables, such as, for instance, resources, the current day, and whether the third choice is available, and whether items were purchased or not, For all of this, we need separate variables. Let's write line using mCoins, then free hours, and also current day. As for the items, we need to track only 2 of them. So vegetables purchased and big bone purchased. And finally, daily choice 3 available. After we have written all of this, we need to close this menu. Okay, now let's go to user control main menu. So you may have probably noticed that we duplicate our code for our hyperlink here, and the button here leads exactly where this link does. So what we need to do, we will rename this button to load, then we will place it here. It will be in grid row 1 and options will be in grid row 2. So also let's make load of light green color and options of the yellow color. Okay, let's replace it with load. Okay, and we don't need this tooltip anymore. Okay, now oh, and also let's make is enabled property false by default, because we can also launch our game for the first time. Press F7. So first of all, let's remove our redundant button click event. Also, in the constructor, we should check whether the file exists. So if file dot exists, and here we check the path. So open curly braces and let's access path, then get directory name, open braces, type assembly, get executing assembly, or rather get entry assembly, and we need its location. By doing this, we only get our folder from the place where we launch our game, then put 2 backslashes and type save.sav. So we will have only one save file. If this file exists, we will enable our button load, button oh, let's give it a name, button underscore load. So button load is enabled equals true. Okay, now in button load click event, where is it? Oh, place your cursor here and press F12. So first of all, we will create a new single pet and initialize it. So new single pet. We will fill it later after we read the values from this file. So we will read all values by lines, but we will do it right in the start. So string, these brackets mean that this is a string array, so there are many strings in it. So its name is lines. So file read all lines, and here we pass the path. So again, let's just copy this path, paste it here. So after we receive all lines from this file, we can access them. We will use them to fill the fields of single pet. So single pet dot pet name equals lines, and in square brackets you can pass the index. So the first element has 0 index. The second has the index of 1, and so on. This will be the pet name. It's very important that you access lines right in the order that you wrote them here. So pet name, total days, and so on. Total days. Then lines 1. And because total days is int and every element of lines is string, we need to convert it to int first. So type convert dot to int 32 and take it in parentheses. Happiness, it will be in line 2. Then happiness bonus, it's in line 3. Well, actually in line 4, but you understand what I mean. I hope so. And next, hunger in line 4. Then hunger modifier in lines 5. Then pet, it's a string, so we don't need to convert it to int. Then pet description in lines 7. Then age in line 8 and age description in lines 9. After we read all these values, we will use transition right from the main menu to the game. So we will not visit our user control select pet screen. Let's access our media player and stop it to stop the music from the main menu. As for any transition, access our parent as window and its content and assign it to a new user control game. And here we will need to pass a lot of parameters. So the first one will be easy, it's our single pet. But also we need to pass our resources and item status and so on. So first of all, let's go to user control game. We will add some more parameters. There are 2 types of parameters. Some of them are required, like this one, so you have to pass it. And some of them are optional. So if you do not assign it, it will have a default value. So what I mean is, you type it as usual, and then you type equals and assign the default value. So let it be 1. And also it's mandatory that all optional parameters are after all required parameters. So int free hours equals 1, int current day equals 1, boolean vegetables purchased. Actually, we can copy it from here, but here you see they are required, while here they will be optional. So vegetables purchased will be false by default, the same with big bone purchased, and daily choice 3 available as well. Let's return to our main menu. Here we now pass single pet, then coins, and you see that all optional parameters are always in square brackets in IntelliSense. The second parameter is coins. So let's type convert to int 32 and pass here lines 10. Copy and paste it, 11, copy paste it 12, copy paste it. Here we have booleans, so 13 convert to boolean, 14, and the last one is also a boolean, 15. Okay, so our braces and semicolon. Good. So now we can load all our saved variables into the game. Now let's return to user control game, specifically its constructor again. And here, before we check items availability, we will need to assign these values. mMoney, which is a private member or a field of user control game, we assign it to the parameter coins. Then free hours is equal to free hours. Current day equals to current day. Vegetables purchased equals vegetables purchased. Big bone purchased equals big bone purchased. Daily choice 3 available equals daily choice 3 available. And also we should check if it is true. So if daily choice 3 available, this is the same as this, so you can omit it for shortness. So if it is true, we access our control called daily choice 3. We access its visibility and we make it visible. Okay, so and then we show buttons to buy items that can be afforded. Because we also take the current day, if it's not the first one, we need to change the progress bar value. So the green bar should correspond to the number of current day. So access our progress bar called pb days. We need its value property, assign it to current day divided by single pet total days. We need to multiply it by 100, and because the value is double, let's first convert current day to double. Just for clearness, let's put it in braces here. Okay, good. Let's open our user control game.xaml. First of all, a design change. We will place fruits first, mouse toy second, vegetables third, and big ball the fourth. So fruits, wheat, we need the whole grid, or rather even this grid. Yeah, so cut it and paste it, I think not here. Yeah, place it here. Okay, and put it in grid column 0. Okay, then let's put this one here. This is big bone, it will be in grid column 3, and that's it. Let's return to our user control game xaml.cs. Now let's access our check items availability method, and we will need to change it a lot. First of all, let's put it in the same order. So first fruits, then put the bone here. Okay, now we need to show the button if we have enough money for it or if it's already purchased. So single pet happiness bonus, if it's greater than 2, we show it. But in addition, if it is specifically more than 2, so if it was purchased 3 times already, we first check if single pet happiness is greater than 2, then button buy toy. Actually, I think we already have it somewhere. Also put these in the same order as well. Fruits to the first place and bone to the last place. So, oh, by the way, we don't need to do these checks anymore because we simply do not show the button if we don't have enough money. So we can simplify it to this, and also we will put these two to our check items availability method right at the end. Okay, so we first subtract money and then we do some effect. Okay, so button by toy, let's do the same. Remove the check. So if it's greater than 2, well, we can just cut it. It's greater than 2, we do this. So it is not enabled anymore and the content changes. Also, we never see those blue colors anymore because by default in WPF, background is always gray when the item is not enabled. So let's just remove it. Okay. Now, as for the vegetables, if we have enough money or vegetables is already purchased. So if it is, we show the button in either case, but if it's indeed purchased, we do the same. So also let's rename it from button by forage to button by vegetables, and rename it here as well. So button by vegetables. Okay, and we need to change the names here, 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 here. Okay, so if we buy vegetables, we subtract money, make it not enabled, you don't need the color, so just cut it, paste it here. Okay, so make it false and purchased. Good. As for the bone, if it's greater than the amount that we need to pay, or big bone purchased. So again, if big bone purchased, let's remove blank lines. So we don't need any of these checks. So here and here. Oh, and also, in addition to subtracting money and making effect, we need to assign vegetables purchased to true. Okay, and we need to cut it from here. And paste it here. Okay, and whatever we do, we update our text blocks. Good. Now we refactored our code a bit with all of these buttons. Okay, I think we should be able to test it out now. Okay, it is disabled because we don't have a save file yet. So let's start. Actually, I'll choose Parrot 12 months. Actually, 6 months. I mean 1 month. Okay, good. Now let's save. Let's go to... Let's exit the game. Start it again. And you see that our button is now enabled. If we press load, yeah, you see that our item is purchased. We have the third choice and we have our happiness here. Alright, that's it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to see more tutorials.